Earlier today I got some hands-on time with the new 39mm Tudor Pelagos. This video is not exactly a review, this is more of my initial impressions and my reaction to the watch. The best way to start this video would be to tell you what are my thoughts on the old 42mm version of Tudor Pelagos. And for me, that watch is one of the best diver watches on the market. In fact, I haven't reviewed one yet because I think at some point I will own one. And I'd rather review my own watch than borrow somebody else's watch because that review is not as good, as insightful as I would review my own watch. So that's why I haven't done one yet, because I'm just thinking that sometime in the future I will own one. I have about 7.5 inches wrist, so the 42mm watch fits perfectly on it. I never had really an issue with the Tudor Pelagos dimensions, and I quite like the size. So this new 39mm wasn't something that I was dreaming of. I know a lot of guys were asking for this smaller version of Pelagos because they like the case shape, they like the rugged look of the watch, but they can't really pull off a 42mm version, so having a 39mm version is great. What they have done with this watch, instead of going with that brushed kind of muted look to the bezel, the look that Pelagos is really known for, especially the blue version of Pelagos, they went for a shinier, polished look, a glossy look, if you will. And I think it doesn't look as good. It makes the watch look a little bit dressier than the 42mm counterpart that looks more like a tool watch. Also, the watch is smaller, it's thinner at about 11.8 millimeters, so they had to reduce water resistance level from 500 meters to 200 meters. Now, it's not like anyone needs 500 meters of water resistance, but it's just cool to have. And now that it's 200 meters of water resistance, it's very similar to the Tudor Black Bay 58. In fact, it has a lot of similarities with the Tudor Black Bay 58. Both watches are kind of dressier pieces as opposed to the 42mm Pelagos. Both watches have the same movements. There is no date complication on this new Pelagos as opposed to the old Pelagos. I know a lot of guys will be upset about that. I don't mind this change, but again, date complication would be cool on a diver watch, and it belonged in this design. I don't think it threw the symmetry off of the old one. I don't know why they chose not to include a date complication, probably just to use the same movement as the Tudor Black Bay 58 models. The case and the bracelet are still made out of grade 2 titanium. It's really light, really comfortable on the wrist. It has a short lug-to-lug distance of about 47 millimeters. It also has first hinged or female link, so if you have a smaller wrist, this watch will feel right at home. 42mm version of Tudor Pelagos has one of the best clasps in business, because not only does it have this kind of glide lock mechanism, it also has a diver's extension and it has this spring mechanism. Well, this clasp has 2 out of 3. It has the glide lock system, which is important. It also has the diver's extension, which is important, but it doesn't have that spring system, which I personally really like. I don't know why they decided not to keep it. Maybe because the clasp is a little bit smaller. Maybe it wasn't as popular with people. For whatever reason, it's absent in this model. Just like its older, bigger brother, the 42mm version, this new 39mm version also comes with a complimentary black rubber strap. Really like that. I wish more companies would include free rubber straps. Even if they charge you $200 for it, on their end, still include it. Just makes you feel a little bit more special as the customer. As comparing to the 42mm version, this version looks quite different. It looks, as I said, more dressed up. It doesn't look as rugged, even though the case is still finished in the satin finish. The dial and the bezel insert are not muted. They have high gloss to it. The dial even has a sunburst effect. I don't know. I don't think it looks good with this design. I personally prefer the old muted look. Since water resistance was reduced from 500 meters to 200 meters in this version, it doesn't have a helium escape valve. It doesn't need one, and it makes the watch look a little bit cleaner without that helium escape valve at the 9 o'clock position. Overall, I like this watch. I'm glad that it exists, but I'm starting to wonder if Tudor is pandering to their customers a little bit too much. I know a lot of guys were excited about a smaller version of Pelagos, and now it's available. But does Tudor really need this version in their lineup? Because they have 39mm divers. They have blue Black Bay 58 and they have that gilt Black Bay 58. So do they really need another 39mm diver watch in this lineup? Yes, this looks more modern, that is more vintage inspired, But the difference between 42mm and 39mm case is not that big, so I feel like maybe Tudor is pandering to people a little bit too much and diluting their lineup of watches too much, and maybe adding too many models. But hey, that's just my opinion. Again, I'm glad that this watch exists. I'm glad that people have more options, but in the long term, I wonder if this decision will hurt them. Out of the two versions, the 39mm and the 42mm, I prefer the 42mm version. Not only do I like the look of it more, I also like that it has that spring mechanism on the clasp. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive than this version, but I think it just looks the part, and it also has 500 meters of water resistance. I mean, I don't need 500 meters of water resistance, but it's just cool to tell people that my watch has 500 meters of water resistance. So that's it. Those are my thoughts on the new 39mm Pelagos. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this watch. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more weekly content. Huge thank you to Vancouver Tudor Boutique for letting me have some hands-on experience with the watch and film some footage for you guys. Thanks for watching this video until the end. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye.